Okay, let's get into this. You know, that feeling when you're trying to grow your business, but you're just drowning in paperwork. Payroll, HR, making sure you're compliant, chasing down benefits info, dealing with audits. It's relentless, right? So today we're doing a deep dive into Staff Leasing PEO. They're a professional employer organization based in New York. Our goal here is to really understand what makes them tick based on what we found. How does this whole co-employment thing actually work with them? And, how do they specifically create that compliance safety net for businesses dealing with all those tricky New York labor laws?
Yeah, and what really jumped out from the research is how staff leasing PEO seems to, well, fundamentally change where a business puts its energy. It's not just about getting time back, although, the numbers we saw suggest owners reclaim maybe 8 to 10 hours a week.
That's significant time.
It really is. And it's not just about saving money either, though average savings of 10-25% on health premiums came up. That's substantial.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture seems to be shifting who's liable for certain things, freeing up that mental bandwidth, which brings up a really interesting point. What could you actually achieve strategically if you weren't constantly putting out administrative fires?
Right. And our sources really emphasize this co-employment model. That seems to be the core of it. Staff leasing, PEO, becomes the employer of record for payroll, taxes, benefits. They use their own FEI, their federal employer ID. And that's not just some technical detail, is it? It's a legal shift. It really streamlines things for the business owner. You still manage your team day to day. You're still running the show operationally.
Absolutely. You keep that control.
But they take on the administrative rate, the legal responsibility for that back end stuff. Workers' comp, disability management, that's included too.
Precisely. And that transfer of liability, that's where the whole compliance safety net idea really becomes clear. It means staff leasing isn't just, pushing paper. They're actively helping shield your business from potentially costly mistakes with New York labor laws. We saw evidence they provide pretty comprehensive guidance, everything from employee handbooks to navigating, like the ACA and ERISA filings.
Okay, so it's proactive help, not just processing.
Exactly. Proactive guidance. That seems to be a key differentiator to avoid penalties down the line.
Makes sense. And beyond just the compliance part, the value you get seems pretty impressive, especially thinking about costs and keeping good people. I mean, imagine offering your team the kind of health, dental, vision plans usually only huge companies get, Fortune 500 level stuff, plus a 401k that's just ready to go. They mentioned joining this big 3,000 life benefit pool.
Right, that pooling effect gives you buying power.
That's got to be a game changer for smaller businesses trying to attract talent, right? Offering benefits that are normally way out of reach.
It absolutely levels the playing field. And it's more than just the core insurance, too. Our sources also pointed to other things like telemedicine options through Ally Health and these employee assistance programs, EAPs, via NextGen.
Oh, interesting. So wellness support, too.
Yeah, stuff that really supports the employee experience, their well-being, maybe even productivity. Now, it's fair to point out, staff leasing PEO doesn't do your recruiting for you.
Okay, good distinction.
And they don't cover workers' comp for really high-risk jobs, think, like roofers, though they'll still administer a policy if you already have one for those roles. But the main value seems locked on simplifying all that complex but essential back-office stuff.
Got it. So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening? We've seen how staff leasing PEO bundles these critical services benefits, HR help, risk management, basically giving you one point of contact, one invoice. Simple.
One login, one invoice,
The big takeaway seems to be offloading that admin burden, finding real cost savings, and just making your business more robust from a compliance standpoint.
And that leads us to a final thought, really. If making the switch to a PEO like staff leasing is relatively simple, sounds like it's mainly a service agreement and sending over your employee list, your census. And what you get back is a partner who literally shares employer liability and handles all those major tax and audit headaches. What's the real long-term impact on your business? How could getting back all that time, those resources, plus accessing big company benefits, how could that genuinely reshape your ability to grow, to recruit better, and maybe finally focus on true innovation?